Okay, so it is the 12:20 meeting on Wednesday, the 5th of October. We have two things to do this afternoon. The first one is that we need to go over what the writing assignment is for today, and it is inside of the language arts unit. So I'm going to show you where that is, and then we can work on it. I'm also going to give you an option for how to submit it. So it tells you have to fill out that graphic organizer and submit it. Remember that your goal in writing is to learn to write well. Your goal for planning is to learn to plan. Your goal is not to learn to fill out their form, right? So if you have a different way of planning, that's fine. They just want to know that you've thought about all those parts. So we can do that on our Google Doc today instead of on their graphic form. If you like their graphic form, it's kind of like my mountain where you had a beginning, middle, and an end. That was the events, the characters, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to share that right now. And then this afternoon at 2 o'clock, we have our fort field trip again, and we've got an assignment for the social studies unit. And that's cool because you can come in your fort to go to the fort. And then we also have at 1:30 our book club with Mila and Megan and Evie. Is that right? I think. Yeah, the 1:30 group. Evie and Megan and Mila and Dalmer if he's here. So you guys will be put into a book club at 1:30, and I'll be in that book club. When you guys get done with your writing for today, if you're in a breakout room, you can just go. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen and show you where the writing assignment is for today. It's actually within the same language arts unit we did this morning. So it's 2.02 and it's page 7. And you'll see it says Writer's Workshop. Step 2 is a planning breakthrough. Okay. Junior writer, you're ready for the next steps of the writing process. You need to plan your story. You'll need to include the key elements of a narrative to write a story to be proud of. So if I ask you what are the key narrative elements, you might want to be able to say this. Watch the video before you begin the planning process. I'm going to go to the text version. Woo, we've been training for this obstacle course all summer. I hope I win. Funny enough, training has inspired me to write a narrative. It tells the story of a girl training for her own obstacle course. Every story has characters, a setting, and events that move the story forward. So those right there are the elements of a narrative: characters, setting, and events. Usually a problem. I talk about the heart of the story. My story has two main characters, a girl named Riley and her competitor, a boy named Oliver. The setting is the gym on the morning of the big day. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I were grading this person's writing, I would say not enough planning. You don't know anything about those characters. What is Riley like? How old is she? Who are her friends? How does she talk? To begin, I need an introduction that catches the reader's attention. We have called that a hook. That's another element of a narrative. It should introduce the character, setting, and situation so the readers understand what's happening. You know, a hook doesn't have to do all of that. It does when you're writing like a whole chapter of a book, that should happen. But frankly, you don't have to have all of that in there, but some of it is good. After months of training, the big day finally arrived. Riley trained hard. She might really win this. Riley looked around at her competitors and suddenly felt nervous. She noticed a boy who looked really strong. Could she beat him? Oh, there we've got a problem. After my introduction, I need to write my body paragraphs to describe the events. By adding details, I can tell how my characters feel and what they're thinking. I can also add dialogue so my characters interact and talk. Here's my first body paragraph. As Riley stretched to get ready, can you see that action? The strong boy walked over to her. Riley told him, Hi, I'm Riley. Good luck. The boy looked at her and said, I'm Oliver. Wait a minute. This is incorrect punctuation because it needs to have somebody else talking as a new paragraph. I don't need luck. I'm going to win. He walked away. To organize the rest of the story, my events need a sequence. You can use words like first, next, after that, eventually, and finally. We call those transition words. I'll write a new body paragraph for each event. Here's the plan for the rest of my events. First, the characters line up, then the competition begins. The first event is the sack race. So this isn't the real writing, this is the planning. Riley takes the lead. Next, the characters start the monkey bars. Oliver takes the lead. After that, Riley catches up. As the competitors enter the last event, Riley notices Oliver has fallen off the balance beam and looks hurt. She keeps moving. She can win, but she can't leave Oliver. Even though everyone else is running ahead, she turns around to help Oliver. After my last body paragraph, I need to provide closure or conclusion. With Oliver leaning over her shoulder, Riley hobbled slowly past the last obstacle. They crossed the finish line together. She didn't win the race, but the other competitors were cheering. My story's coming along. Even if I don't win the obstacle course, at least I'll be able to write a new story. Well, I better get back to training. Then it talks about planning your story and talks about a graphic organizer coming in handy. Here is a graphic organizer all filled out for the story of Eduardo, just as an example of how you can do it. Print Carolina's narrative graphic organizer and put it into works in the progress section of your writing binder for reference. I don't know if the binder has this in it or not, but they just said, look at the one that's all filled out so you can look at it to know how to fill out yours. You don't obviously have to do that. It's just an example. So then it goes to page 8 and it says a plan is a writer's navigational tool, and they want you to review your brainstorming ideas, pick one, use the graphic organizer, and put your ideas in logical order. Here's your prompt as a reminder. So this is what we're writing about, a narrative about a character who goes exploring and discovers new land. Follow these steps to complete it. Here's your narrative writing. If you like this and you want to edit it and turn it in, you can. If you want to just look at the things that it says and go to your Google Doc and write those in like I did, then you can see I've got explore, climbing Mount St. Helens, an old volcano, go to the top. Remember, we have to discover new land. That's my prompt. And here I've got my characters started. Toby, a 10-year-old boy who doesn't think he wants to explore. He likes his phone and computer. He is small, has straight brown hair, and wears glasses. He wears plain t-shirts and jeans and Converse tennis shoes. His best friend is his neighbor, Larry, another nerdy computer kid who likes Minecraft. They're really good at using GPS to navigate and downloading online maps before the trip. Other characters, his outdoorsy anti-tech parents, and his older sister, Jean, the ranger at the trailhead. Problems. Toby doesn't want to go. His parents don't appreciate his tech skills and want to get him outside. The storm comes and they get lost and they need technology to find their way home. And then here are my major events. The parents are planning a trip. Toby refuses until they invite Larry. They chat with the ranger. He mentions bad weather coming in, so that builds the tension. Toby discovers an amazing landscape of knocked down trees on Mount St. Helens where that's the discovering a new land. He finds he really likes mountain climbing, but his parents also learn that technology can help in the outdoors because they end up using the GPS to find their way through the clouds and get down safely. So this has got all the planning I needed. It doesn't have my setting. I haven't finished filling that in. So climbing Mount St. Helens. It's a steep, rocky, barren, old volcano that blew up. So all the trees are knocked down in a row. All the trees got blasted down, so they're all lying on the ground. It's really strange. Okay, guys, this is the kind of planning you have to do. You can do it on your Google Doc or you can do it in the lesson. Do I have any questions on what the assignment is for today?